All right, let's get the elephant in the room out.
All right, the next stage, Tree Palace.
I'm gonna let y'all go first. I'm gonna let y'all go first. I'm gonna let y'all go first.
This level has so many issues, and it made me rage quit. Now, I will say the concept of you climbing up a tree is cool, but there's so much like BS. Can I say BS on air?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is so much BS in this level that makes me frustrated. Like if you fall at any point in this level, you have to climb your way back up, and there's no like spring or whatever to like take you back up. Also, there's a switch you gotta hit at the start of the level, and if you don't pay attention to that switch, or if you are somebody that like gets disoriented easily, you will miss the switch, and you'll be stuck there for like 30 minutes.
It's a cutscene. It's an important cutscene. How do y'all?
Oh, trust me, I don't. But like, try streaming something and playing the game at the same time.
And looking at.
And I feel like the game doesn't do a good job showcasing the Switch, because okay, let's take for example Prince of Persia, right? They will like in most Prince of Persia games, they'll have the camera start from where you are to establish the shot of where it's supposed to go. But in this game, you get the level, it shows you the Switch, and then it goes back to Sonic, and you're just like, where am I? Where's the Switch? And you gotta figure that out. Also, if you die, I feel like the kill points are kind of unfair, because if you go up and you die from a higher height, it's a kill point, which is weird. Even though you can see like the bottom path from where you like got up from, which is weird. I think they should have just like kept that and not make it a kill point.
So should there be certain kill planes for when you're like near the
No,
top?
that's unfair. Like I feel like at a certain height there should be a kill plane, or at the bottom at least. But like in the current build, if you fall to like a section below the one that you're on, it's already a kill plane.
Once again, I'll play devil's advocate only because I played Ori and the Blind. And,
Good game, by the way.
yeah. So as soon as I saw that in Sonic 2020 and he put the music in there, I was like, oh, he did. So me as the Ori fan, I'm
like,
fanboy.
I totally get that, but at the same time, it's like you're playing a Sonic game, and there's trial and error, and you can die.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I would have done? Like, I'm not a level designer, right? I'm a sound engineer, but I would have just been like, if you clear a section, add a spring on like a lower section in case you fall, so you can like climb back up to the lower one and then make your way back up. But because right now, if you fall, you have to climb back up the entire structure. And I've seen people legitimately just get stuck there.
You poor souls. But I understand where you guys are coming from. I'm gonna be biased because it's literally Ori in 3D for me. So the vibe that I'm getting, get to the top of the tree. Okay, say less.
But you're playing the Sonic game.
I know.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. Maybe because it also gives you two specific pathways. One, the normal path, and then Sonic's path, which is with the grappling.
Also, this stage has an issue. You can get legitimately stuck in collision. Like you can, like some of the collision is not finished. Like you can stand on, like the rocks, and there's this one section where you wall run, if I'm remembering correctly. And sometimes the objects will not trigger for that. Like there's a spring that takes you, and some of the spring will just not load.
I personally think with Tree Palace, it tries to give you too many options, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it just doesn't work.
Okay.
At least for Sonic.
You know what? I don't mind the fact that it's open, right? I want like some kind of like sense of direction, because there is almost none except for like when you get to the top.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know. again, like what Mario said, I like the concept. The problem is, I don't think it works for Sonic, or like just Sonic alone, because you know Sonic's supposed to be boosting and fast and like with some platforming. Maybe if they made it like, I know you had to change the story of it, and maybe like I don't know, maybe if you add Tails, like just Tails on himself, like maybe one section you play as Sonic, or like you start as Tails because there's water, Sonic doesn't like water, get Tails to I don't know, go down, push a button, and maybe it defloods or something, and then you have control Sonic, and then he can, you know, traverse up. I don't know, just I feel like there's a good idea here. It just needs just tweak.
Padding,
I don't know.
elbow grease.
I don't know. Just change the level design somehow. I don't know. Like I said, I'm no game designer, so I wouldn't know what I would want. But it just, this one doesn't feel like it works how it should.
Sure.
I don't know. This is an interesting one, because I think like the previous demo, or when Tree Palace was first revealed, I think it was either if you hated Wild Ridge, then you definitely hate Tree Palace. They were like those two were like the ones that everyone hated the most, especially Tree Palace, because I think just like you kind of get lost. Like there was no sense of direction, even though there kind of is, but it's just very unclear. Like of course you gotta press the button to unlock a spring which is covered in the cage of thorns. But from there onwards, you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's intentional of the developers, where you're gonna have to explore to find your way. But I feel like you need more clearer direction. I don't know. See, Tree Palace is a weird one for me. Like I see potential. I see potential to be an interesting stage, but I feel like it just falls short of the mark. Also, I kind of had the stage bug on me, because like where you first push the button to unlock the spring, where you know you've got a homing tag for it to rise. For some reason, I'm probably the only one who experienced this, but when I got to that spring and do a homing tag, it bounced me back off, and it would just fly up.
No. How?
I don't even know. Like even if you restart the stage,
I've seen
that it still did. So what I had to do, I had to quit the level, go to the main menu, back into the game, and then into the stage, and it fixed itself. So I probably just got a rare bug where for some reason it would not trigger, it would not make me homing tag and just, you know, fly up where you normally should. So yeah, that was just a rare bug that I experienced, which kind of put me off the mood for the zone. Because I thought they released a buggy stage, and I'm like, can I not progress? Because I kind of need to progress. But yeah.
Holy hell!
I've seen people go through the spring, the blue spring, but that one.
So I guess the end of the day, Tree Palace, not everyone's cup of tea, I would say. So next stage, once you eventually get to the top after like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so without dying, we get to a cutscene where Sonic grabs the emerald, and then as he grabs it, the whole area kind of floods, and we go into a short stage called Waterfall Chase, which I'm kind of assume it's supposed to be a Mark Speed kind of section.
Yes.
Or inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. It's a cool, nice, short, but for story-wise it makes sense, because you are basically running to escape from death. I like it. I don't like how the rocks, you take damage from the rocks. Which, if it was like Sonic 06, I would understand it, because that's on Sonic 06, that's a thing, because you're going max speed, but you're boosting, or even if you're just running at the beginning and you just hit the rock because you lost control of where you're going, you take damage. That, to me, I don't like that, because that's like the only way of death is if the water catches up to you and you basically drown instantly. That's just me. Like, I don't mind if the rock stops you from boosting. That's kind of like, okay, it's stopping you from boost. You gotta quickly progress now. I just don't like how you take damage from it. Because there's other time rocks hit you and you don't take damage. But in this zone, it's an exception. That's just a little issue I have with it. Design also introduces, I guess, boost circles. I don't know, because once you go through them, they give you boost, which I like that. It's a nice little thing of not having many, boost capsules all over the place. It kind of gives you like, oh, go through this ring, we'll give you boost to help you. I like that because the whole point of the zone is you're escaping from death.
Right. And sometimes it's nice not to see the capsules just laying around all over the place. It actually fit the environment. That is actually one of my personal favorite stages. And shout out to Ori and the Blind Forest, baby. But yeah, the rush, the anxiety, I gotta get out of here now. And I don't know. I wish there was a way you can see that water coming after you. I wish you could do that, but I know with the limits of the Infinity Engine, I know.
Like there is, I think the screen, like the corner, like around the screen, like there is some effect. I think that's kind of like, oh, it's right behind you. You gotta, but yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
blur.
that's a vignette.
I mean,
by the way, they tweaked it. They tweaked it, by the way, because in the last demo, if you stopped for 1 second, it would just get you and you would just die. But in this demo, it actually tweaks to like the point where you can get hit once or twice, and then it'll catch up to you if you stand still.
Aw, you're so kind.
Yeah, because in demo 1, if you hit something, you were dead.
Yeah.
You kind of had to be perfect.
Yeah, and
like,
that's
flawless. But at least from what I'm hearing now, they kind of tweaked it to make it a bit more. Give you chances to like, okay, you blew your first chance, we'll give you another chance. Alright, third chance, that's it. But no, given like story for the story plot wise and how you can complete this stage in like basically under a minute if you're really good and you find like the fastest path. I actually don't mind this. I like it. It's a nice change of like, oh, okay, it's weird how we're going for like, oh, we want longer stages in Sonic, and yeah, we get a short stage, and it's kind of like relaxing. Weirdly enough,
right?
It's weird, but no, this one's. I actually like it. I think this is like probably, yeah. No, I don't really have much to say about this one.
Same.
All right, so basically, it ends with a cutscene of Sonic escaping from it, and then
the 2 Chaos Emeralds
and then the Chaos Emeralds,
react.
basically they react, and then that causes the tornado to crash, knocking Tails out, and then they crash into the forest, and then we go into where we see Shadow for the first time, and then introduces Shadow as a playable character, and we get the first stage, which is basically him in a simulation, like training regiment for G.U.N. In the stage G.U.N. Arsenal, or Gun Arsenal. And this is also where it shows the mechanics for Shadow, where not only he can boost and do stuff where Sonic does, but he also has abilities on his own that only he can do, which is the 4 Chaos abilities. You got Chaos Control, which you can slow down everything. The Chaos Dash, which gives you like kind of like a boost where you can quickly move a section either up, down, in the direction. You got the Chaos Spear, which you shoot chaos like a spear energy into enemies and I guess triggers if you want. And Chaos Blast, which from previous games you should know, especially in Shadow the Hedgehog, you would know what Chaos Blast is. Destruction within the area. Before we go into stage, let's talk about Shadow's playstyle. What does everyone... Because I really like how this kind of gives Shadow his own uniqueness instead of just being a Sonic clone.
Yes.
Like, I really like Because it kind of to me it kind of evolves from what Shadow have done in the past, where like technically you couldn't do this in SA2, but he has Chaos Control, and then in Shadow the Hedgehog he could have Chaos Control and Chaos Blast, and then Sonic 06 he kind of had, I guess, the spear, which
he had the Chaos
just
Spear, the Chaos Snap, and the Chaos Blast.
Snap.
yeah. But at least now this fan game, it kind of incorporates 4 of his most well known and kind of puts them into his playstyle. I will say, like, and it's great how the tutorial tells you each one when, because this stage he's like it's basically a tutorial for Shadow, while also not being a tutorial stage in the way. It kind of like just shows what he can do and how it helps progress the stage. What does everyone think of Shadow's playstyle?
Okay.
I'll say real quick. This one says, "Hey, the gloves are off. It's on you."
Yep. It gives me Heroes vibes because in Sonic Heroes Team Dark was the hard difficulty, which is fair, but like I love the level, but the Shadow has some physics issues, and this is the level where you can actually see the physics issues because Shadow's jump is iffy in this level especially, because at the end when you hit the switch with the Chaos Spear, the Chaos Spear, there's a platforming section or sections where you have to like platform on like moving floors, and then there's like homing attack chains in the air, and the issue with Shadow in this level is basically like if you jump sometimes, you will do your second jump instead of your first jump, and to homing attack you need to do the first jump first and then the second jump to like have it register. And if the second jump doesn't work like it should, you will die, and you cannot help that because that's a game issue. But I also feel like that if that was a game issue, they should have designed it to be a teeny tiny bit more forgiving, just in case if the homing attack fails for whatever reason.
I do notice if you run off or accidentally run off the stage, it will initiate that jump or the second jump. I'm not sure if that happens.
It does.
Yeah, I kind of notice that too with Shadow. Sometimes he won't do his double jump, he'll just do the single jump for some reason. I thought that was just me not judging where he is, like if he's off the edge, and sometimes I think, oh, maybe I just pressed the jump button a bit too late where it triggers him to go.
I experimented with this because there's a section where you have to like double jump on crates and then go to like a moving floor. Sometimes it will just not go, and you could be standing still. Like I don't know how to trigger it, but like sometimes it will just refuse, and that's something that needs to be fixed.
What does everyone think of each of Shadow's abilities? Like, I think I will say, I mean, I'm saying early, but I feel like the least one I used was Chaos Dash.
I've learned a little something about Chaos Dash. I wish I had time because I would speedrun the mess with that.
It's useful. It's useful.
Okay, I must be really bad because I hardly use that at all.
I
don't know.
So I have a question. When you use it, are you using it when you're trying to, say, for example, use Chaos Spear? Are you aiming, or are you using the trigger buttons in the jump?
Okay.
Because there's two ways to use it.
So I play it like I'm playing PO6 when I use the Sky Gem. If that makes sense. Like I will, it depends.
So yeah, I learned you don't have to aim.
Yeah, that's a PO6 thing. Where if you just let it go without aiming, you will get speed instantly.
Maybe I just need to play with Shadow a bit more.
But at the same time, it's also kind of broken. Yes, you should.
We'll just quickly go through the stage because it's just Shadow doing a like a warm up simulation for him. How does everyone think about the level design of the stage?
It's fine. It's
I'm
fine. My only issue again is the camera.
Yep.
Because sometimes when you do the moving floor bits, you have to first rotate the camera, then when you're on the floor, rotate the camera again. And like this is why Generations has like, automatic cameras and stuff to mitigate this issue. And I'm not saying make all cameras automatic, because that would defeat the purpose of having a camera. But like make like automatic cameras for sections where you need that view of like what's around you.
Okay. Yeah, for me, yeah, this one's alright stage, just probably just like a more not difficult, just more a more challenging zone. Especially when you have to traverse over like bottomless pits basically. In multiple sections, but it's also a good stage. It also introduces you how to use all the chaos abilities, which I kind of like. So yeah, we get through there, a bit more story expositioning, why Shadow's working for G.U.N, because like I said, this is supposed to be set after Unleashed, and it kind of reveals a few things. Then we get introduced to Rouge, who's out, doing her usual self, being like a thief and stuff. And then we got Shadow traversing to the next stage, which is Moldy Jungle.
What an intro.
Oh yeah, I will say that's a pretty cool. That is a good way to introduce a Shadow stage, basically.
Every sound cue, way he just went off the hill.
Now we go to the actual stage, Moldy Jungle. This one's alright.
I think it's.
I think it's fine. This one's probably the least one I think about. I don't know. Just something about this stage doesn't really.
I mean,
grasp my attention.
It works.
It's not just
It
you.
works.
I think what Murray's.
It's aesthetically pleasing though.
Yeah. It's just there, like. I don't know, just doesn't. I don't want to say it's boring because people might disagree, but I don't know, just something. It doesn't really grasp my attention. Go like, oh, this is like. I mean, I don't know. This one just I didn't say I didn't have the. It wasn't bad. It just doesn't. It's not very
appealing.
Yeah,
and that's fair. It's one of those stages. I'm just get it done.
Yeah.
And every Sonic stage or Sonic game has that. There's just that one stage. It's just like, okay, it's fine, but there's better.
Maybe because this one's more very puzzle based. Maybe. I don't know. Just like because this one mainly focuses on you gotta hit switches for platforms to appear and other stuff, and then there's also sections where it's like deadly poison in the gas or something, and you need to have air or quickly get out to avoid dying, which is cool. It's a different take from the whole, drowning. Like, you need air to be underwater, but this is like, oh, there's a deadly gas or poison in the air. You need to get air bubbles to, survive and stuff, which I like. I think maybe because this is a slow stage, especially with the puzzles. Like, you gotta, climb different pathways to, hit switches and to progress. I don't know.
Granted, it's a pace, but it's a A to B with a little bit of puzzle.
Yeah. Not really much to talk about this one, which, I don't know, like I said, visually it looks great. I like the colors basically on the trees and the vines and how it's all mutated, if that's the correct word for it. Then you're comparing it to White Jungle, which is your standard colors of what a jungle should look like. Yeah, this one's not. What about you, Murray? What do you think of Moldy Jungle?
I think it's fine. It gets the job done, but it's not memorable to me. It just looks like White Jungle, but not as good. Also, poison gas. I get why it's there. But yeah, you just kind of play it to get through it, I guess.
Alright, we'll move on and we get the a boss fight. One that's Shadow's first boss fight against this. What is it? I don't even know. It's called the stage is called the Vortex, and it's
The Vortex.
it's a two. I don't. There's like two phases in this boss. The first one is you're under poison gas in this little cave area, and you gotta like dodge his attacks while you got vines and springs, like mushroom springs, I should say, that you can bounce onto and then, hit its chest when there's an opening, which there is plenty of openings. It's just you just gotta read this boss's attack patterns, which are random.
Yeah.
Especially when you die and restart, his patterns are not always the same, which in one way I think it's good because it keeps you on your toes. But then you got the problem with with Sonic Fang, we know how bosses, there's always a pattern. So why isn't it following a pattern?
But that's an issue with most of the bosses in this game.
The only move that really annoys me
Is that? It's the spin.
'cause
It is the spin for sure.
Yeah, that's the
Because
only one that really.
I swear to God,
because he puts his hands in. Yeah, he puts his hands in. You take damage from that. You don't take damage from the spin. It's when he puts his hands together and then he starts spinning.
oh no,
That's
you
what I
do take you do take damage from the spin, by the way. But the hitbox for that spin and like the slam that he does when he does a spin is so huge. You could be at the back of the arena and it will still get you somehow. And the thing is, like, one issue with the spin is that you will get hit while you're trying to recover from it, and then you'll die.
But I will say once again, he was very nice because those move sets, they are so much slower than they used to
God.
be. That boss would swing so fast, but now I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, did I use chaos control?
Yeah, this one, I don't know. At least the first phase, it's kind of like, okay, you kind of like, it also gives you, because you're also with poison gas, you gotta like constantly keep an eye on your oxygen level because you always got to keep that filled up. Which, while also watching the boss and see what he's actually doing. So you get about half. If you get his health down to half, it triggers a little in-game cutscene where he escapes or he disappears, and then you gotta like get out of the cave because it's like crumbling. And then there's like a little section where you gotta bounce on springs, grab on these vines while he's trying to attack you in certain sections. I mean, that's pretty cool. Another like very cinematic, quickly move to the next area, and then which no issues with that. I thought that's pretty good. And then we get to the second phase, which is in a different area. I guess similar. It's similar to the first phase, except you're just not under poisonous gas. You're kind of in the open a bit more, and there's like multiple ways you can attack him.
I think the area is more enclosed to make it quote unquote a little more.
Yeah, because there's also poisonous water. So yeah.
I think it's still fine. It keeps you on your toes. I think my only issue is camera is issue. Because if he does his roar and he pushes you back, what are the chances that you fall into the water, into the poisonous water?
Because you can't see where you're going. Yeah.
Exactly. Unless you hit R3. But that's even still. That's.
Yeah, I think.
But other than that, I like it.
I think like this boss, you're gonna spend the time just trying to find a way to like just get some chip damage in to him, because again, patterns are random, which I'm assuming that's probably just the game design. I don't want to say flaw because I can see why that's good. It keeps you on your toes, but then again, it's like, well, we're used to seeing patterns, so it confuses you a little bit.
Okay, so I don't think that patterns being randomized is a flaw, but like the attacks need to be telegraphed well in advance, which this boss doesn't have. Like with this boss, he will just do the attacks and there's like no wind up. Like they just kind of happen. The only one that you can kind of see coming is like when he does the spin and the slam.
Yep.
I humbly disagree. When he does his so the right swing comes in and that's just one. When he does the left swing, he does the left swing and then a right. I can kind of gauge that one, but and then the clap. He doesn't clap. That's the only. I really don't like the projectiles though. Projectiles, they go through the wall. That's not cool.
Projectors, they suck.
I thought it was crazy.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really hate with projectiles because I always get hit by them no matter what.
Same.
And then there's me panicking because the rings have got collision. They're running away from me, going into the water. I'm like, well, I can't go in the water because I'll.
And you find the camera too, and chaos.
Now this is something I noticed in the bosses so far. This is maybe This is me just kind of like I kind of wish we have rings sometimes respawn. Like not a lot, just a couple because.
Here's the thing though. The bosses do actually do this, but the time for it takes too long for them to respawn. Like, I've realized that they respawn if you're not looking at the rings. They'll respawn off screen so that you go back. If you go back, you can see them. They do respawn because there's a boss fight that we will talk about soon that does this.
Alright, so defeat the boss finally after some time, and then because the last demo, this is where the last demo ended, and then in the full game, this is where the new one. This is like new territory for all of us because this is just new levels for us. Cutscene between Sonic, Tails, and Shadow and Eggman. They have a bit of a brawl for some obvious reason. Doesn't really make sense, but I'm not going to go into that because it's a bit pointless. Then we get to the next stage, which is another Shadow play, United Railroad. I will say, the first half I really like. It's the second half I hate. Because the first half very cinematic moments, which I like. Different pathways. A new stage gimmick was like falling platforms, which nothing new in a Sonic because that's always been a thing. This is the first time we actually see it in this fan game. No, I kind of like the first half. It's just when there's like, I think the halfway point is where there's this big arena section where it's like a waves of enemies that you got to defeat. That's when I feel like this stage goes downhill for me personally.
Okay, one thing though, is this the one where we're on the train?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have issues with this level. I like the first half, but then you get to like the second half where you are on a train and you're like supposed to dodge like I think they're like signs, safety signs.
Traps.
Yeah.
And
trap.
And enemies basically. And there's one section in this level where you can use the Chaos Snap and you can basically soft lock yourself because you can't die and you can't get up there.
Wait, what?
Nani?
Wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what? You just told me
Yeah,
something new.
you know where the doors, right? With the enemies? And you're supposed to like get up there. You can use Chaos Snap to get up there. And if you aim it wrong, you can actually get stuck because there's no spring you can get off of. Yeah. So there's this one section with the signs, and if you keep going, they'll hit you. But what you're supposed to do is use Chaos Control to slow down time, and then you can go on, which is cool. But I feel like there's no like indication telling you that, and you'll just die. Also, there's invisible, I'll just call them pits, because basically in the level there's multiple trains that are like separated from each other, and in between like each separate train there's like a slight gap that you can't see.
I saw somebody die there on Twitter.
Because I get it though, because you can't see the gaps because when you're playing you're not looking at the floor all the way. You're looking at Sonic, right? So, or Shadow in this case. So you're not gonna focus on a gap in the floor that shouldn't be there. Or you know what? It should be there, but it needs to be telegraphed like way better.
All right, this will be my last
Alrighty.
take. This is the
Fire.
best stage. This is the best stage for me. This is the best stage for me. The intro, the way it started, you already know my highlight. The skydiving. That specific, whatever you want to call it, what is it? Cinematic part
Yep.
is everything. That was butter.
No,
The stage itself, the first part of the stage, great. The way it flows, the way the pacing, the way the trees were like alive while you were going throughout the course of the stage. That was
yeah,
great.
no, I will agree. That
Yeah,
was
same.
dope. Actually, I want to see more of that. It's a shame it only happened like once. I was like, oh, give me more trees, please.
Yeah, like cinematic stuff like that is dope. It's amazing. All right, once we get to the second half, when we're on the train, as soon as I saw that Eggman evil, I was like, this is what we're doing. And then you gotta the way you have to break in with the homing
Yeah,
attack.
that was neat. When it works.
That was great. And then finally, the fact that they put Sonic in that cutscene, like, and not
It
even
was
a cutscene,
gameplay, yeah.
in the level, and he's zipping. Yeah, he was just zipping away. I was like, if you could do that, I could do that. And then I just instantly just went, and no, it didn't work. Chaos controls in there.
Yeah,
And then finally, when you get to the upper part of the train, I can admit that threw me for a loop because I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, okay, let's boost and get some boost, get some rings. You hear the how can I explain? What are those? What is that? Because that almost killed me. You know what I'm talking about. At the top, where you're about to get hit.
I'm drawing a blank.
Same.
So in the last section, you're going right, you're going left, you're going right, you're going left. You're trying to dodge the what's the word I'm looking for?
Because
Whatever it was, it almost killed me. But
cool.
because you have to use chaos control there or you have to dodge.
Yeah.
Really good.
Like, I want to give like the train section. That was really cool. I like the whole deal. Like, oh, we're on a train. We gotta, pass through, and then we get to the top. And we're gonna dodge like the signpost because you get hit. Obviously, you lose rings.
That's it. The little signpost.
The problem is, I think, especially like the first time you're doing it, it's reasonable. It's like, okay, they're not going as fast, so you can dodge easily. It's just the second
That
one.
last section
Like,
is
I understand.
BS because they're going way too fast and you cannot recover if you get hit unless you know it's coming.
Yeah. Like, once you get hit, you're actually going back as well, even though you're stuck in the animation of Shadow, like, trying to get up.
I got lucky. I was on the right side. All I heard was this shoosh, this whoosh sound, and I was like, oh, so this is going to kill me. Okay, let me stay.
Like, I'm fine with it, like, the second part of the signpost, they're supposed to be, faster, more difficult. That's fine. I just think it's too much of a drastic change in speed.
Like, here's what they should have done. Like, in the first section, that's where you get, like, the gimmick, right? And then they repeat that, but slightly faster, and then they do that final section where you actually have to, like, do or die. Because at that point, you've learned how to deal with it.
Do you think it works because we're in control, or do you think it should be a quick step section?
With the way
if you could change it.
With the way it's set up, I would do both at the same time. I don't know how it would work, but like, I like the fact that you can control Shadow, like, on all axis in that section. But like, the control is too loose for a section like this because you can still boost as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would say maybe, you know what? Put Shadow on a track, right? and then have Shadow move on that track, but you can still control Shadow with the quick step as well.